Hello, my YouTube people. It is 12:30 in the morning. Sorry, let me try to adjust this fucking screen. It's 12:30 in the morning, and Tony's sleeping, and River's sleeping. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all in the last video, we got a new little kitten, and Zeus thinks that he's his mother, and it's kind of cute. We were walking up the steps at my grandma's house, and I heard this crying. I'm like, alright, either a child is being murdered or there's an animal somewhere. So I started looking around, and Grandma has this hole under her front step, and I heard it coming from there. So, I get down on my belly and I'm looking, and there's this little tiny little baby kitten. So I free him, and then I try to get him to go on his way because I live with a dog, and that dog used to love tiny animals. But then he lived with my sister's psychotic dog who told him, like, yo, bro, you chase them, you kill them. So I figured I would not be able to make my heart happy and have a cat again until Zuzi was no longer in this world. And I had made peace with that. But this kitten would not leave. And every time I tried to get the kitten to, go on his way, he would start crying, and River would start crying. And he's sitting here following River all around the yard, and I'm just like, fuck my life. So I called Tony, and he had just gotten off work. I'm like, listen, do you think a kitten would survive in our house? And he got more excited than River was, and he was, ready for this shit. Now, keep in mind, he's not even all that fond of animals. Not really. Not really. He is not the person that's like, yes, babe, bring home the kitten. Well, he was this fucking time, so now I had his hopes up, the little fucking orphan kitten's hopes up, and River's. I couldn't disappoint all three of them. So I'm like, alright, we're gonna try this. I'll probably have to keep them separated, keep an eye on them, just train Zeus not to eat the precious little kitten. We bring that little fucker home, and Zeus is like, my baby! So, they're buddies, and River, of course, we brought the cat home, and then she was like, yeah, I'm over it. So now the cat follows me around, and I love him. I'm so happy to have a cat again. I was never a dog person. I don't really like dogs that much. Now, cats I can get behind. We share the same type of I don't give a fuck, just feed me attitude, we don't really care what others think of us. We are doing our motherfucking thing, and we'll come to you if we want affection. And yeah, I relate to cats a lot better than I do dogs. And I'm so happy to have a cat in my presence again. It just makes me so happy. And for being a cat that was born outside, he's not tried to, usually if you bring a kitten home that was born in the wild or outside or whatever, they try to get out. They try to get out the window, the doors, whatever, until they get used to being in the house. Well, the little fucker had no idea what a litter box was, and boy, has that been fun. But it is a good thing y'all can't smell my house right now. I've been going around cleaning up mess after mess, but he's getting it. He peed by himself in the litter box twice today. So he's doing way better than River. River hasn't actually peed in the potty in a month and a half. So he's doing good. I guess it is true what they say about it being easier to train boys than girls. But yeah. So he don't know what a litter box is, but on the other hand, he's like, yeah, I lived out there. I'm fucking good. Just keep the tuna coming and let me lay on the couch. And I'm a happy little camper. And his name is Flash. He's named after River's favorite superhero because my 2-year-old is in love with Barry Allen. Yes, she is. She don't give a fuck about Arrow. She don't give a fuck about Supergirl. But buddy, you let Flash come on, and that child that has the attention span of a fucking gnat can suddenly sit down and watch 35 minutes of a motherfucker running around. So, that's something, You'll ask her, who's your favorite superhero? Flash! And then she sticks her arms out, Don't mind my sticks her arms out and takes off running, going, Flash, Flash! I'm like, oh my fucking god, really? But that's what happens when you breed with a nerd, so I have to accept it. So yeah, our cat's name is Flash, and he's tiny and gray, and I do want to do a video. Y'all are not going to fucking believe how big River is, and all the talking she's doing, usually being mouthy. Now she does not understand sentence structure quite yet. She's working on that shit. She's kind of talking like the kids I grew up with in Circleville, still do at 30. But no offense, Cass. Now, damn it, you know proper English. What about the little motherfuckers we grew up with? Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So we have a cat, and River's all, grown up and shit. I'm sure she'll start college in like a week and a half. And I am so ready for another baby. But then River gets to screaming, and she's got this high-pitched fucking scream that could literally be used to torture terrorists, and they would tell you anything that you wanted to know just to make it fucking stop. And, then I think, I'll just let my friends have more babies, and I'll hold them until they get to be toddlers, and then I'll put them down. Yeah. So, this is a video. I know I fucking spent 6 minutes giving you an update on nothing at all pertaining to the video I actually want to make. But that's why you come here, to hear me fucking ramble and forget what I was talking about. This is actually a video not pertaining to Flash or River or superheroes, but about the Triple Goddess. And I'm reading this book, which I have had this book. I think I may have actually shown it to y'all when I first bought it. I got it when I was very early pregnant for River, but I didn't know I was pregnant yet, or maybe right before I got pregnant for her. Somewhere in the spring of 2015, I got this book. And I have tried to read it. Oh, look at what I've already done to the spine. I am terrible. I tried to read it over and over and over again, and I just wasn't getting into it. And I have learned over the years that regardless of when you buy a book, if you cannot seem to read it, like you're just blocked, you just can't get through it, can't get through the first few pages, whatever, but it's an otherwise good book that you should want to read, you shelf that shit. Shelve. I cannot believe I just said shelf. You shelve that shit until you are able to read it, because when it comes to craft books, at least in my experience, I have found that you read them when you need them. So, yeah, I've been reading it, and I'm like 60 pages in, which is farther than I've ever got. And I've even been able to almost read it through the screaming of my child and the pissing and shitting of my cat in corners, and Zeus whining because the cat has tuna and he doesn't have tuna and his food's suddenly not good enough, and but yeah. But it got me. This is actually a video that I have wanted to make almost as long as I've had this channel, and I've just never, gotten around to it. By the way, when you're old and you're not bendable anymore, it helps to remember that you can't lean back that far. Anyway, one night I was YouTubing, and I wasn't even looking for Triple Goddess videos, but just by coincidence, I happened to find 3 in a row, this is no shit, of women talking about how the Triple Goddess is really not something that resonates with them, because they see the Triple Goddess as basically minimizing the power of the goddess by saying that she only has power in relation to her relationship to a man, the maiden mother crone. Like, obviously the maiden is the young virgin and she's coming into her own, and then the mother, after you give birth, which also depends upon a man just a tiny bit, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being quite fucking literal, they contribute about that much to the birth process. But still, you know, we gotta have it. If we're gonna make a baby, we gotta have that little bit. And then, of course, the crone aspect is after you can no longer birth babies. And then all these things relate to how a woman is in relation to a man. Well, especially considering the craft myths you have, if you're, I believe that's just a Wicca thing with the young goddess and the young god, and then going into summer she's pregnant, and then fall he dies and all that. I think I'm not sure, because Wicca is the only pagan religion that I know any amount about. But I think that's primarily a Wiccan thing at this point. Notice I said Wicca, not Wiccan. I don't like the term Wiccan, but that's neither here nor there. That's a totally different video. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yes, that is the literal, maybe, way to look at it, especially in relation to how we celebrate the Sabbats and the little pieces of myth that we have woven in with those celebrations. However, I do not think that the triple goddess was ever meant to be reduced in quite that way, nor do I think she should be now. And I feel like any barrier between a woman and the triple goddess of that nature is more of a misunderstanding. Because to me, and this is how I wrote it out in Sleeping Beauty as well, because, you know, I wrote like whole rituals in there because of Keela being in ritual with her mom and all that. Now, y'all know I'm solitary. I don't fucking work with anybody. I've never done a ritual with a coven or anything of that nature. So I would look through stuff on the internet to try to get just like the bare bones of what it would look like. Not a whole lot different from a solitary one, except the work's kind of broken up. And you can do like dramas with it or what have you. But when I was doing the part where Keela's mom was throwing a ritual and a celebration for her because she had just started menstruating, I almost left that out. And then I'm like, because I tried to make this book very female oriented and include things that women from all time periods through the last 2,500 years have gone through. And that's a big one that really is not, as far as I've ever seen, talked about in a positive light in popular fiction. So I wanted that in there, especially, you know, with her mom being who she was in the coven, well, clan of the witches and all that. So, you know, her mother explained it to her, and this is the way that I would explain it to somebody, that the maiden is the aspect of a female that runs from adolescence into early adulthood. And this is the time period, which I'm sure that would have been a very, you know, a much shorter time in the 14th century, because they lived much shorter lives. But now it would run from when you start menstruating into probably 25 years of age, maybe. And for most females, this is the time where they are coming into their own. And they are trying to figure out who they are, what they want to do with the rest of their lives, what they like, what they don't like. You know, they're trying to build on some type of image of self, you know, personality and interests and future goals. So they're trying to discover who they are as a person. And then the mother time, even if you never intend to have a child, even if you never intend to get married, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have anything for you. Because to me, the time of the mother is not just about creating human beings. It is about creating. You know, you're creating your career, you're creating art, you're creating some type of future for yourself. It's about creation in general, creating exactly the type of life that you want. So the maiden is about creating the person you want to become, personality-wise and interests and all that. The mother is about creating your life out of the things that you have decided in the maiden phase. And then the crone is all about enjoying what you have learned from the previous two stages and circling back to help women who are younger than yourself through the process of creating who they are, creating the life that they want, and things of that nature. Just as the grandmother will, assist the mother when she first has a child and show her what it is to be a mother, or show her how she did things so that maybe her daughter or granddaughter can learn from that, or whatever. I mean, there are many different types of wisdom that the crone can share with females that are younger. And, they've already been through the two previous stages. So, and that's what the crone phase is about. Even if the crone never had children, she can still share her life experiences from the life that she's led and the things that she's built with younger generations. So I just feel like there seems to be a bit of a misunderstanding about the energies of the triple goddess. And I feel like I really would like to see that misunderstanding cleared up, because even though my matron goddess is not a triple goddess at all, I feel like the triple goddess is a very powerful, energy-wise and historically, and I lost my word for a minute, but hey, what else is there? Just in general, the triple goddess is a very powerful energy to think on and commune with and pray to in the form of the moon cycles and all of that. So that's just something I want to throw out there. Like, it does not necessarily have to be literal. The being in the mother stage does not mean that you intend to give birth. That's not necessarily what it means. If you create a life as a doctor, you've still created it. If you create a novel or a song or a painting, it's still creation. You brought that into the world. You gave birth to it. So, in one way or another, if you're out there in the world doing your thing, making money, making your dreams come true, you are creating your life. It doesn't have to be about birthing babies, man. It doesn't have to be about birthing babies. And of course, if you are the traditional get married, have babies, that type of thing, then you're good to go. You can take it literally. Like, oh, lordy. Alright, so I'm going to tell y'all about something. But I don't want any comments from any witches out there who might know what the fuck this is, because I want to figure this out all by my lonesome, even if it takes the next 3 weeks to accomplish that. So, the other day, I was cleaning. Yeah, what else is new, right? And I suddenly got this vision of this wild looking, like, I don't know if she's a goddess, a spirit, not like a spirit of a human dead person, but like a woodland spirit. I don't know who the hell she is, but she is wild looking, like primal to the nth degree. Woman in a cave. And I tried to put it out of my head all day. I'm like, man, you're just, you're crazy, you see all kinds of shit. And it just would not leave me alone. And for 2 days this went on. I kept seeing this flash of this very primal looking woman who, excuse me, I burped, excuse me. Even though this woman looks like someone that should frighten me, I am not frightened by her. Quite the opposite. Like, I feel her inviting me in. And I have now spent 4 days trying to find whoever this is. On, meditating and trying to find this cave and trying to find this damn woman. And, so far, even when I did it in the middle of the day, fully rested, fall asleep every fucking time, I almost get there. Now, the first night, I went to the wrong motherfucking cave. I went underground cave. This is not an underground cave, and I realized that after I'd done it. Oh yeah, whoever this is, let me get deep in the damn underground cave with the water and whatnot, and no, she's up, not down. So, I'm looking for this chick. I want to know who the hell she is and why I keep seeing her. I mean, like, usually, if I'm going somewhere, I don't know where I'm going, and I'm going to be around someone or something that I don't know who it is, I look the shit up as much as possible before I get there. And I almost looked up, like, goddess in a cave or cave spirits or whatever. But I just have this feeling like I don't want to know until she tells me. So I will keep y'all updated. If I ever find this fucking cave and I ever get a fucking name, like, I want to know what's up. And then I was reading that book, and they were talking about how it's like 21 minutes long and I'm not even done yet. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, they were talking about how the first step in the whole patriarchy taking over the matriarchy was taking, well, at least in Crete and Greece, was taking the most powerful goddess that they would not give up, which was Athena, and making her more masculine, taking away her mother, because in the original myth she did have a mother, and I believe the mother was Zeus's aunt. In fact, it was Rhea, or Ray, Rhea. I do remember how it's spelled. Not sure if it's Rhea or Ray, but it's one of the two. But yeah, she had a mother. And then, these motherfuckers were like, well, since they won't give up this goddess, and since she's so important to them, we have to find a way to take her away from the feminine and put her in the masculine. Well, let's take her mother. She sprang from Zeus's head. So she has one parent, and he's a dude. And then let's, write this myth wherein she completely swears off the feminine aspect of life and herself and her daughters in order to take on only the masculine because she sprang from Zeus's head and all this shit. While I was reading that, because I think I've made a video talking about this before, how there are myths about Athena that I just don't buy. The whole, any myth where she is this jealous psycho bitch who will get you to the nth degree because you're better at something than she is, or you've been deemed prettier than her. Like, that is not the Athena that has been in my life for at least now almost 20 years. That's not her. The Athena I know is all about, she's incredibly self-assured. She does not have to play weak games like getting jealous because Aphrodite's prettier than her, because she is so sure of herself and so content with herself that she don't need that. And there's nothing about her that has ever made me think that she could ever be that girl. She's all about women supporting women and lifting each other up. and, you know, not having to compete with one another, because the only person you should be competing with is yourself. And, you know, she's that type of goddess. And I just never bought it. Well, while reading, you know, that, it's like, well, it's no surprise that the patriarchy would turn her into this crazy jealous bitch who wants to be the best at everything and the prettiest at everything and will bring down her own sisters if that's what she has to do. So that kind of made sense. And then I think I've told y'all about the books I will write that will be kind of the end of this series, not the end of my vampires, but the end of this particular series. And it will be a battle between every god that's ever been prayed to that I can find. And I'm not sure what yet, but it is going to be bad. I mean, we're talking like about 4 or 5 books out, so I don't have to know the details just yet. However, the early summer, after I had River, I started getting like pieces of this book coming to me, and I write the shit down, you know, even though it's might be 10 years before I get to this book, I write it down. And if it changes when I go to write the book, then I'll make the changes, but I have the bare bones of what I was seeing. Well, part of that, and I have it somewhere on my computer, was Hecate basically telling Zeus, like, I left you in charge because I thought you were going to be splitting your power between you and your brothers. I never dreamed that you would basically create a patriarchy and feed all these bullshit stories to the humans and allow these bullshit stories to be told and allow humans to think you let me stay free to do as I please when I am far stronger than you will ever be, and after this battle I'm putting your ass in check was pretty much the extent of it. And then I read in this book how Hecate was originally the goddess of the underworld, which even in the later myths, she was the one deity that could go to the underworld and to Earth and to Olympus. So, you know, in that way, she kind of grew even more powerful because, you know, as above, so below, she had freedom to go wherever the fuck she pleased. And they were talking about how, you know, for the patriarchy, that just would not do. They could not have a very powerful female dealing with the souls of the dead. So they put Hades down there, and then the whole Persephone thing, and that way there would be a goddess, but she was weak and basically a rape and captive victim. Which, you know, makes sense if you think like men trying to take over women. And I don't know, it was just weird. It was just weird. Maybe I connect dots where there are no dots, but to me, that was weird. That two of the main things they did was take the feminine out of Aphrodite, or out of Athena, which she's still plenty feminine, I'm here to tell you. She'll whoop your ass, she'll let you learn some fucked up life lessons just to go, see if you would have listened to me, you wouldn't have had to have gone through that. She's all about the fucking tough love, but she's still plenty fucking feminine. And that they tried to weaken Hecate. And those are like the two main things that these parts were, because there was another part that I had written out where Athena was being told, no, you did not, absolutely did not spring from his head. You have a mother, and I suspect that he killed her. That was what her dear Auntie Hecate had to tell her. But anyway, yeah, I'm still not sure where that book's going. It'll be years before I find out, but I just found that interesting. So, yeah, there's my 30-minute long ramble about goddesses and books and the new cat. I love y'all, and like I said, I am going to try to do a video with River and the new kitty. If I could get River to, like, slow down for 2.5 seconds. But I love y'all, and hopefully I'll do another video soon. Good night.